I'm alive.
You have recovered from your what was the sickness?
This is an upper respiratory infection. At one point, I believe it was pneumonia. Got better from that. Then evolved back to bronchitis, and like this thing was like doing all sorts of evolution. As long as it doesn't evolve into some sort of mega evolution, we think we're going to be good.
Pokerus. That's why we have.
Yeah, it's Pokerus for sure.
So that's why we were out of commission for a month, but we're back now.
It's all my fault.
It happens. Things happen. But hi, everybody. Welcome again to the PokeBeach.com podcast. My name is John. I go by Water Pokemon Master on the website, and I am joined, as always, by my wonderful, hopefully healthier friend now,
Justin Basil of justinbasil.com.
And I don't know what where we're going to stop with the news for this podcast. I guess we'll just do like the last week or so. But we had maybe
some of the highlights from older stuff.
Well, yeah. But let's start with the big news, which we've been waiting for.
The glory of Team Rocket.
We've been waiting for this for 9 months. We discovered the trademark 9 months ago. So Japan's long-awaited The Glory of Team Rocket set has finally been revealed. It will release on April 18th. So I kind of predicted this, that all of the cards are going to be named, it's Team Rocket. I had said Rocket, but they're all going to be named Team Rocket, but have different trainer icons. Yet they're all still Rockets cards. So this gives the set the opportunity to have like a special illustration rare of Mewtwo with Giovanni, or I don't know, a special illustration rare of, an illustration rare of Porygon Z with a Team Rocket grunt. So they can change up the characters, but they're all still Rockets cards and get those boosts from whatever trainer cards that support Rockets Pokemon are. So, the set will have 98 cards in its main set, and then after Secret Rares, we'll probably get around 130 or so. So these cards will come in our Destined Rivals set on May 30th. Now, we were expecting Destined Rivals to be revealed this week or last week, but it turns out that this is going to be the shortest time between a set reveal and a set release. The last time that we had a reveal window this short was in 2022 for Pokemon Go. So Pokemon really broke precedent here. Yeah, they broke precedent here with this set reveal. Or rather, we haven't had the set reveal yet, so precedent has been broken, but I can confirm that the set will be revealed next week, so I do know that that's going to happen. But I think the reason that this reveal, or the English reveal for Destined Rivals, is now being delayed is because last week they revealed the new pocket set, Shiny Revelry, which we'll get into. And I think now what the case is that the physical trading card game is now going to have to account for the digital trading card game's marketing. So because Shiny Revelry is coming out this coming week, they had to, and they revealed the sets a week ahead. They had to reveal Shiny Revelry this past week, and so I think that kind of delayed Destined Rivals to be next week. So I think that the marketing.
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
Because that suggests that the TCG pocket sets are a higher priority than the physical English sets.
Well, I wouldn't say a higher priority. I would just say they have to account for that as well. Because I think maybe the idea is that, hey, here's a new digital set, get excited about it, the more casual fans. And then, oh, by the way, there's also this physical set coming out called Destined Rivals, and you should pre-order it. So I think that they're kind of the marketing is kind of working in tandem together now, and this isn't confirmed yet. So we're going to see again, I'm going off the past 3 years of TPCI's reveal schedule. So it's always based on facts and precedent. You can only predict so much. So we'll see over the next couple of sets what's going to happen, if this keeps happening with pocket reveals or if it disrupts the physical TCG schedule reveal. So right now it's only a theory, but I think it's the best theory we have for why the reveal time period has been thrown off with Destined Rivals. So anyway, let's get into the cards now, which we should point out we've got a mix of we have a mix of modern Pokemon like Spidops and then old Pokemon like Mewtwo. But anyway, what excited you here?
So one of the things that excited me most was actually Spidops, believe it or not. So Team Rocket Spidops has the ability Charging Up. It is exactly the same ability we used to see on Naganadel back from Lost Thunder. So if you're somebody who's been around in the card game for a while and you remember Blacephala and Naganadel as a deck, this Spidops, it's got the exact same ability. So once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. It's able to fish those energy cards out of your discard pile and attach them to itself. And then it has Rocket Rush for Grass Colorless, which does 30 damage for each of your Team Rocket's Pokemon in play, which is not too bad.
So is the idea that, I mean, it's kind of weird for me because it's like, well, how come the attack doesn't do like some kind of damage having to do with the number of energy attached to it? Is it just more of like, hey, this is a way of quickly...
This is just like Naganadel, and then it's not really meant to be the main attacker, but it can do decent damage in a pinch. So Naganadel was very much like it had Charging Up also, but its attack was based on the number of prize cards in play, or I can't remember which player it was, I think it was yours, but based on the number of prize cards one of the players had, and then it would do more damage. But it wasn't really based on the energy. So its partner, or its evident partner here, is going to be something that wants to do discards for damage, right? It's something that wants to have energy in play that it can either discard or Law Zone or do whatever with. And that is going to be our next Pokemon, Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. So Spidops is very much meant to be a partner with Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. So it has the ability Power Saver. This Pokemon can't attack unless you have 4 or more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play. It's really not going to be that hard to do. We have tons of Pokemon we can fill that role. And then it has for Psychic Colorless, Eraser Ball, which does 160 damage. And then it says, you may discard up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon. This attack does 60 more damage for each card you discarded in this way. Now, something to take note of, this is a Psychic Pokemon. This Psychic Pokemon has 280 HP as a basic. This is a huge amount of HP on a basic Pokemon. So the damage is not like the biggest thing in the world, but you're still able to get up to 280 before modifiers as long as you're able to fill the attack cost. And there is an easier way to help us to fill the attack cost. We're not just going to be reliant on something like an energy switch off of a Spidops. We do have Team Rocket Energy. So Team Rocket Energy says this card can only be attached to a Team Rocket's Pokemon. If this card is attached to anything other than Team Rocket's Pokemon, discard this card. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 in any combination of Psychic Energy and Darkness Energy. So this is basically a double energy for those 2 types, which means that it immediately pays the double Psychic cost requirement for Mewtwo EX, or for Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX's attack cost, which is great because that means you just need that attachment and then like an energy switch to power up the attack cost on Team Rocket's Mewtwo.
I like how this has I like how this has like a custom energy icons on it. It's pretty cool. We don't see that too often.
Yeah. So I know there's been a lot of discussion about Team Rocket's Mewtwo online, and people are split about whether it's good or not. Personally, I do think it's good. I also think it's important to note that we still haven't seen most of this set. There's probably still some more support for this archetype that we just haven't even seen yet. There's also that on Team Rocket's Mewtwo, there's that one colorless slot. That means something like what's it called? Counter Gain can fit that slot. So you can do something. If you really wanted to be a menace, you could throw something like Dusknoir in the deck or Dusclops, force those to knock it out, force it down to just the double Psychic attack cost. So you're already taking a knockout or doing big damage with the effect of Dusclops or Dusknoir. And then you're, of course, paying for the attack cost by just throwing a Counter Gain and the Rocket Energy on there, and I think it's pretty decent personally. A lot of people are saying, "Oh no, it's another example of Reshiram and Zekrom GX," which was an archetype that was very hyped up going in before it came out here internationally, and then it just kind of fell flat on its face. But I just don't think this is quite an example of that. I think it's going to be at least a little bit better than that. I think this is closer to Blacephala and Naganadel. This set, unfortunately, doesn't have, so far at least, a lot else that's worth noting. Team Rocket's Persian is kind of a gimmick, but it is an EX, so we'll go ahead and highlight it anyway. Team Rocket's Persian EX has the attack Arrogant Command for double colorless. Reveal the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck. Choose one of the revealed Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. Your opponent shuffles the other cards back into their deck. You're reliant on your opponent having one Pokemon in the deck, but two Pokemon that you want to be able to copy in the deck, so that's not super great. And then his other attack is Cruel Slash for 3 colorless. It does 140, and your opponent's active Pokemon is confused. So basically, the idea here would be that you're trying to stall with Cruel Slash until you can get something potentially interesting with Arrogant Command. Like maybe you're throwing something on top of your opponent's deck. Obviously, we don't have anything of the sort in Standard just yet for that, but I just don't think this is an especially good card. Not with what we've seen, at least.
And
we do have some supporters that are worth noting. We'll look at the Team Rocket supporters here. So Team Rocket's Archer. This can only be played if any of your Team Rocket's Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Each player shuffles their hand into their deck. You draw 5. Your opponent draws 3. So this is a slightly worse Roxanne. You also have Team Rocket's Ariana. Draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If all of your Pokemon in play are Team Rocket's Pokemon, draw until you have 8 cards in your hand instead. That's pretty good, frankly. And then the card that a lot of people were talking about is Team Rocket's Giovanni. Switch your active Team Rocket's Pokemon with one of your benched Team Rocket's Pokemon. If you do, switch in one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to the active spot. So this is a Guzma style effect. So for those who are unfamiliar, Guzma was a supporter card way back in the day in Burning Shadows during early Sun and Moon that had the same effect as Prime Catcher. So you're switching your opponent's you're gusting out your opponent's active Pokemon and then switching your own Pokemon. So Team Rocket's Giovanni works in much the same way. The only difference is here you're going to have to switch out your active Team Rocket's Pokemon first in order to get that gusting effect. So similar effects, but still I think pretty decent, especially if you're running a deck that is all Rocket's Pokemon. People very seriously underestimate just how potent the Guzma or Prime Catcher style of effect is until they actually play with it, and then they're like, oh, yeah, that's busted. And then finally, an item card worth noting is Team Rocket's Receiver. Search your deck for a supporter card with Rockets in its name or Team Rockets in its name. Reveal it and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So this allows you to find your Team Rocket's Giovanni in the deck. This allows you to find Team Rocket's Ariana. You're able to find them when you need them, which just makes them that much better.
Cool. And then we'll see if we get more. I'm sure we're going to get more Team Rockets cards. It'll be interesting if
100%.
It'll be interesting if it completely outnumbers the number of owners Pokemon from battle partners, because we only got a handful for each trainer, but this is a dedicated Team Rocket set, so hopefully we're going to get a bunch more of them.
I am a bit amused, too, that they decided to call them all Team Rocket's Pokemon. But if you'll notice, the badges are actually different on each of these Pokemon. Like, for Persian, for example, it does have Giovanni on there.
Yeah,
but, like, the Porygon, it just has the Grunt. So it's like it varied it up, even though it has the same owner, technically. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier. They're all the different icons, so you can have different trainers in the illustration rares and whatever, but they're still all Rockets cards. They're all linked by the red Rocket logo too. Kind of like back in. Actually, let's go over that real quick. So the original Team Rocket set released in 2000 and introduced Dark Pokemon, as we all know. These were Pokemon that were corrupted by Team Rocket. So as a result, they had lower HP but higher attack power. So you have a 70 HP Dark Blastoise when the original Blastoise was 100 HP, and an 80 HP Dark Charizard when the original was 120 HP. But they did more damage because, I don't know. And then Gym Heroes.
Cannon, that's why.
Yeah. And then Gym Heroes and Gym Challenge released right after Team Rocket and introduced the first owners Pokemon, including Rocket's Pokemon. And then Dark Pokemon returned in 2002's Neo Destiny alongside Light Pokemon. They were still tied to Team Rocket, according to the set description. And then in 2006's EX Team Rocket Returns, we got both Dark Pokemon and Rocket's Pokemon in the same set. Even though this set released in Generation 3, all of the Pokemon in the set were from Kanto or Johto. This is presumably because Team Rocket mainly operates in those two regions in the video games. And then I said, it's likely Dark Pokemon weren't brought back in 2025 because they're conceptually tied to Generations 1 and 2 because of Team Rocket. And Owner's Pokemon is a more versatile mechanic that can work across multiple sets, so it can not only bring back Team Rocket, but other trainers and their Pokemon from other generations. So that's probably why we didn't get Dark Pokemon brought back. And I think that was also your argument back at Nationals in last year, wasn't it? You were saying that
the argument was that it wasn't a big enough mechanic to last.
Right.
Yeah.
Multiple sets, yeah. And then, we also got a bunch of new, or we're getting a bunch of new Team Rocket accessories releasing in April at Japan's Pokemon Centers.
In Japan, yeah.
Yeah, on April 18th, which is when the set releases. So here you have the card sleeves and deck box featuring the booster pack artwork, a red Team Rocket sleeve. It's so funny that they can just slap a red R on everything. People will just go nuts for it.
I mean, it's the Rocket R. So.
I know. It's just funny. It's just an R. And then you get this leatherette deck box, a leatherette card box, rubber play mat, damage counter case, and a bunch of clothing and apparel, which is pretty cool. Actually, I didn't look too closely at this before, but what is that in the background? Oh, hey, look, it shows Nidoqueen. Oh, I didn't notice this before.
I wonder if those are Pokemon that are going to pop into the set. I bet they are.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Weezing.
There's Mewtwo again, Nidoqueen again. Nidoking? Is that Nidoking? Yeah. Who's that?
Raticate.
Oh, yeah, it's Raticate, yeah. Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that before.
I bet they're in the set.
Yeah.
That would be real fun.
Yeah, I should note that in the story. Yeah, it'll be cool if any of this comes to our Pokemon Center, but kind of doubt it. And then
I doubt it too. That briefcase, though.
Yeah, well, it's not a briefcase. It's the
attaché case. Sorry.
Oh, is that how you pronounce it? I was going to say attaché. Attaché. It's basically just it's just a plastic case that holds your accessories. It'll cost $100 and come with 30 booster packs of the set. It'll only be available through a lottery on Japan's Pokemon Center website. So, good luck.
Yeah.
Getting that. So yeah, that's Glory of Team Rocket, and we will be getting the reveal of Destined Rivals this coming week. Exciting times. Let's go over Shiny Revelry real quick, coming out for Pokemon TCG Pocket on March 27th this coming week. It'll feature the first shiny Pokemon in Pocket. It'll also introduce Pokemon and trainers from Scarlet and Violet for the first time, including Tatsugiri and Iono. Ranked matches will soon be coming to Pocket. The first season will feature Shining Revelry. Shining Revelry and start March. I couldn't even spell I screwed up spelling Revelry like 3 times when I first posted this story. Feels like it needs an E after the L. So the first season of ranked matches will start March 28th for Shiny Revelry. And yeah, here's the pack artwork and some of the cards. I haven't really been playing Pocket lately. Have you?
I'm not gonna lie. No, I haven't.
Yeah,
I've kind of dropped it because pretty much ever since the third set dropped, it feels like all the pull rates tanked hard, and now I can't pull anything worth a darn. Yeah, I can't pull anything worth a darn, and so like every once in a while I'll pop on just open packs, but that's about all I do now.
Yeah, I haven't opened it in a couple weeks. I'm just kind of over it. Like, it's too much to keep up with. I liked my what was the deck? I was playing that fire deck with Scentiscorch. I liked that deck, but now you have to keep opening packs to, I don't know. It's just like, I guess that's the same argument you can make about the physical card game, except it's even harder.
It's 100%. The difference though with the physical card game is if you want, like, you can just buy the cards you need and get them ordered and be done with it.
That's true. And they're also like physical and you can put them on display and whatever. But yeah, I've kind of lost interest in it. That's why I haven't really been posting too much about it. I'm only like posting the set reveals and when the sets drop so people can look at the art. But yeah, so that's Shining Revelry coming out March 27th next week. And now have some exciting news for Japanese collectors. New print runs of Trastal Festival EX and other sets are available in Japan right now, this weekend, the weekend that we are recording this. So Pokemon Japan has been busy printing more products. There's now freshly printed stock of Night Wanderer, Stellar Miracle, Trastal Festival EX, and Battle Partners at Japan's Pokemon centers and other retailers, although some stores may take up until next week to get them in stock. I've been told the stock is not as large as the original print runs, but it won't be small either. So it's a significant restock, but not as large as the original. And then there's also going to be new print runs, new stock of Paradise Dragona and Supercharged Breaker in April. So Japan's making up for the demand right now.
They're trying to, at least.
Yeah, and then Heatwave Arena sales of it are currently going on at Pokemon Center stores with a limit of 10 packs per customer. There were supposed to be online sales scheduled on March 14th when the set released, but the launch was postponed due to a bunch of people crashing the website and a glitch with the Pokemon Center website's credit card processing system. There's now going to be a lottery sale for Heatwave Arena. It'll be at a later date, but details haven't been announced yet. And then as for here in America or overseas, I had posted back in January that demand for Prismatic Evolutions was much higher than supply. We had talked about how a bunch of regular stores like bookstores and stores that wouldn't normally order Pokemon were trying to get in on it, which caused severe shortages to, hobby stores and the usual. And then, of course, and then 2 weeks later, TPCI announced that it was going to print more of the impacted Prismatic Evolutions products as quickly as possible and at maximum capacity due to the high demand. So in the past, it usually takes TPCI 6 to 9 months to print more product. So we should start to see more Prismatic Evolutions products by the summer or fall. And then I had also posted a story, of course, about how what stock that is currently being held onto by some distributors and stores is being sold for much higher than MSRP. But the good news is that TPCI is working on it, just like Pokemon Japan did, and we will get more of it later this year. So just be
It's
patient.
especially scummy when even the distributors are gouging. Like,
there's definitely some distributor corruption. I was working on a story about that back in January, actually, when Prismatic came out, and I didn't post it because I didn't know the full story yet. I don't know if I should revisit that draft I wrote, but basically I was writing about how there are distributors that are opening up shops under different companies and giving the secondary company that they own all of the stock from the primary company, the distributor. So there's definitely some corruption going on, and I think people are starting to catch on to it. I might revisit that story in the next couple of weeks because I still don't feel like I know the full story. But regardless, just be patient. We're going to get more Prismatic Evolution soon, just like Japan is getting more Trastal Festival EX right now. So just hang in there. You'll get it eventually, I hope. All right, next story. Let's talk about the scalping. So, Pokemon Center Singapore has announced that until further notice, they're going to remove the plastic wrap from all Pokemon TCG products before selling them to customers. So here's an example of a sealed booster box with a plastic wrap on it, and then here it is, unsealed, where they have taken the plastic off and sold it to customers. So we've seen this technique used in Japan over the last 4 years since the pandemic, but we've never seen an official Pokemon store that sells English products doing this. So you can see here, it's Journey Together that was unsealed. So we've seen this with Japanese products. It's funny because
my local game store did this exact same thing.
Right.
Back during like the shortage around Battle Styles.
Yeah.
And they did it for a while then.
Yeah, I've seen stores here in LA do it too, or they put the person's name on it in marker. So you can't really resell it. But this is the first time we've seen a Pokemon store that sells English product doing this, an official Pokemon store. So maybe it'll come elsewhere in the future. I don't know. This technique is effective for deterring scalping because removing the plastic wrap destroys trust in the product, because if you're a scalper selling it on the secondary market, your customers don't know if you've tampered with the product. Whereas if you're just a regular person like me or you trying to buy the product and you're getting it directly from Pokemon itself, the Pokemon Center, you know that the product hasn't been tampered with because it's coming directly from Pokemon. So,
yeah.
And then we also have an update that rolled out to all of Pokemon's vending machines in the U.S. There's now a sign that displays on the LCD screens saying that loitering is not permitted, and that the machine inventory will periodically release products with purchase limits. So basically, the machines are going to release like a couple of products in random time intervals, basically. So somebody can't come to the machines and just clear them out all at once. They disperse the product in random intervals so that more people can get their hands on it. More fans can get their hands on it.
Hopefully that's effective. I do wonder how effective it is.
Well, yeah, I think it is effective to a degree, because you're not allowed to just stand around and camp out at the machines anymore. There's literally a sign on that says,
but the scalpers will find their way.
Well, no, because loitering gives when the store is saying that loitering is not permitted and it's displaying on the machine, that gives the store a very explicit option to eject a person legally. They can say, we have said in our store that loitering is not permitted. You need to leave. So they can tell people to leave now more explicitly.
They can do it, but that doesn't mean that people are actually going to loiter to exploit this. Like, I'm sorry? They don't have to. People don't have to loiter to exploit it.
What do you mean?
They can figure out what the timing is. They can figure out ways to put multiple people in and out. Like, there are easy ways to get around this.
For me. Sorry, you said the last thing I heard was they can figure out the timing.
They can figure out timing. They can use multiple people. There are all sorts of ways to get around this.
But it makes it much more.
So it will make it more It makes it somewhat more difficult for. But you got to realize these scalpers are all they're all bullheaded assholes. They're going to find a way to exploit whatever they can.
Right. But the issue is that it doesn't make it very productive to stand around all day waiting for this product. Like. It only releases like a couple at a time. So, yeah.
The thing is, if it's a couple at a time, the scalpers can still scalp it.
Right, but they have to literally stand around all day, so it just doesn't make it as worth it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe some of them probably don't have jobs anyway.
No, John, their job is reselling Pokemon product.
Yeah.
We're acting like children at Costco.
Yeah, and so that's this next video. Man, so these guys are at Costco yelling at each other. They're saying it's just Pokemon. And then one guy, they start punching each other. And then this other guy comes out of nowhere and does a high jump kick at another guy. And this was all over 151 tins releasing at that Costco in Toronto. And you can see just other people walking by holding the packages of 151 tins. Man, it's just like...
It's like a punchline. Like these guys fighting over Pokemon while everybody walks out with Pokemon in front of them.
Yeah.
It's a punchline right
funny. It's really funny. I don't understand this kind of behavior. I just don't get it. I don't know if people are just really struggling because of the economy and this is their only way to make money and it's like life or death for them. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I am a hardcore Pokemon fan. I've been here since day one, literally every single day since it came out. I never left. I do love collecting older stuff. And I mean, if they, for some reason had like re-released base set or something like celebrations or whatever, I still wouldn't be punching people, even if I just, was dreaming all day about getting my hands on the product. I just wouldn't act like this. Like the worst I would do is maybe like give somebody like that's scalping an earful, but I just would never come to blows with somebody. So I just don't get this. I don't understand why this is happening. I don't know why people are doing this. Everybody's got a camera in their pocket now. Like, do you really want to risk your reputation, getting caught on camera punching somebody over Pokemon? Like,
question is, do these people have a positive reputation in the first place at this point?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess not. I mean, if you're punching people, then yeah, I guess you probably don't. So I don't know. I don't understand humanity sometimes. I don't know. But anyway, this probably isn't going to end anytime soon because we keep seeing these videos. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of entertaining in a way. I have dark humor. I really am a dark humor person. So I think it's kind of funny actually. But it's also like very sad in a way and pathetic. So it's all the feelings all at once. But anyway,
personally, I'm just over this shortage already. I hate that the same thing is happening as happened during the previous shortage with the burning the battle styles and Chilling Reign.
Yeah,
where the booster boxes are double the price they used to be.
Yeah,
or triple in some cases. Like it's just absurd. And yes, there is increased demand. Absolutely, Prismatic Evolutions has brought a lot of people back into the game, made a lot of people more interested and aware of the TCG.
Well.
A lot of the Pocket doesn't done crap. I'm sorry, I don't understand the argument at all. Pocket's a drop in the bucket, if anything.
No,
but Prismatic Evolutions,
you are 100% wrong. No,
I am 100% right.
No.
I am 100% right.
We have the data.
Pocket has done diddly dick in terms of bringing people to the physical card game.
Oh, you are so wrong. You are so wrong. Unless you're talking about the competitive, I would agree. But if you're talking about getting hands on the physical cards, you are 100% wrong. Not only do we have data,
Prismatic Evolutions is what brought people. No.
Pocket. No, hold on a minute. You have to listen first. So we have data from TCG Player showing that literally when Pocket released, all of the prices on cards went sky high because people were buying them. And I also have my own data from the website showing that we have had unprecedented amount of views on Pocket Stories, more than regular sets. So you are not correct. The facts do not agree with that. Now, if you're talking about the competitive card game,
now here's the problem:
totally
Prismatic Evolutions and Pocket dropped around the same time. Interest in Prismatic Evolutions is a correlation issue.
Pocket came out.
Yes, it's 100% what it is.
Pocket came out months before Prismatic Evolutions. Pocket came out in the fall. Prismatic Evolutions came out in January. So
Prismatic Evolutions was revealed back in the fall. That's when all the interest spiked.
No. You're not right about this. It's okay. I mean, it's hard to keep track of these things all the time too. And sometimes we have our own theories in our heads. I'm guilty of this too, where I'll have a theory in my head and I'll run with it. And then sometimes I forget things or get confused or whatever, but you're not right about this. We have the physical black and white data showing that as soon as literally the week Pocket came out, everything went up. Because people were like, oh, cards, I'm going to, I want to get into Pokemon cards again. And it was like one of the most successful app launches when it came out.
You talk to literally anyone who's collecting cards right now that has come back over the last 6 months, it's because of Prismatic Evolution.
Yeah, this is also I forget what the fallacy is. This is also a psychology fallacy where the people you hang out with tend to be just like you, and the people that you talk with tend to be just like you in the same conditions and the same whatever. So you, sir, are and I am too. You, sir, are a hardcore player, and you go to League.
I am not a hardcore player. I am a professor.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. You're into the competitive scene, is what I mean. You hang out with competitive people who don't have as much of an interest in Pocket.
I also hang out with collectors who are part of my league too, and these collectors are not coming to the game from Pocket.
Sir,
they're not.
The fact that you go to League already puts you in the 1%. Like these are people that we do not meet that are playing Pocket and that are trying to buy the cards. These are your kids going to Target. These are teenagers. I don't know. But these are not people that you and I interact with. These are people who don't even read PokeBeach. They have a very casual interest in Pokemon. And those are the people that make up the bulk of who fans are. They are not people that are reading this website, going to League. So you and I are automatically disqualified from being in those spheres because we are so involved in this. We don't meet you and I don't meet those kind of people. I mean, I do sometimes. I like to go into Target and talk to people sometimes. I like to, like I did I was talking about this in the last episode. I was just in Walmart and I was talking to a parent and giving them advice, and she was like, I forgot what the story was, but I tried
but
to.
But she couldn't flip something and resell it as a higher value.
Well, it wasn't. She wasn't trying to flip it. She was only interested if it was valuable, and so yeah, but yeah. So anyway, but yeah. So
I still insist that it's not Pocket.
Well,
I really genuinely don't care what the data you think says. I just don't think it's Pocket. Now, it may have had, don't get me wrong, I think it's had a push, but compared to Prismatic Evolutions, I strongly doubt it's actually the thing.
No.
Prismatic Evolutions is what the set that's had the shortage. Prismatic Evolutions is the one that's had the massive sales. It's the one that caused the spike for Journey Together. Like, it's not Pocket. Pocket, sure, it has caused some increase, but compared to Prismatic Evolutions, I don't see it.
But anyway. All right. So anyway, the point is that there is a shortage right now. Everybody wants cards, and we're going to have to deal with this for a while. And to be fair, I've seen a lot of people criticizing Pokemon. I think it is we've talked about this before. I think it is justified to a degree because it doesn't seem like they anticipated the demand. But I had also kind of forgotten about that. Well, and then to counter myself, and also what I said in a previous episode, I forgot that when I was interviewing for that story I wrote in January, that people that are insiders did say that it seems that Pokemon was printing at max capacity. So I don't know. The only thing I think they maybe could have done, assuming that that's true, is got more printing plants online, or I don't know, but I'm sure that takes a while.
To be fair to Pokemon, they have been doing that. Like, they do have several more plants than they did a few years ago.
Yeah,
it's just the demand is still higher and higher.
So I think if based on what we know, and again, we don't always know everything, and we can't, but based on what we know, I think that they are probably printing at max capacity, and maybe the only thing they could have done was get more plants online behind the scenes, and maybe they are doing that. But I guess, like, I also kind of wonder if they did, if that maybe isn't true because of Shrouded Fable and how poorly received that was. Maybe they did dial it back a little bit. Maybe they like shifted it more like, hey, let's print more Journey Together and the Rocket set, and maybe not Prismatic Evolutions as much because of the last special set didn't do too well. So maybe it was like,
well, that's the thing. That's the thing though, is happened. Like I called Shrouded Fable a dud from the second it was revealed.
Yeah,
I think even you called it out.
Yeah, we were like, this is sucky.
Surely people at the Pokemon Company International knew it was going to be a failure. But you and I both were like, yeah, Prismatic Evolutions is going to blow everything out of the water. It's going to sell like crazy. We both called that too.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they would cut the production for Prismatic based on Shroud. There's no real correlation between why we would cut down the demand for a set that will very clearly sell, a set that has been designed to sell over the course of a full year.
Yeah,
like they have products stretched out throughout the year.
Yeah.
I just don't see them cutting production based on Shroud of Fable. Shroud of Fable was a failure from the second it was conceived. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, that's even why it's got the Kingdra and the Greninja in it that Japan hasn't even gotten yet. I think that's probably why they made those cards for that set to get it moving. But yeah, it's just, I would really have to sit down and talk to people more and try to figure out the full story. But all we do know, the only thing we know for sure is what Pokemon has said. And what they have said is that they are printing the impacted product at max capacity and will try to get it out as soon as possible. So that's all that's official. And from interviewing some insiders, the theory was that they were printing at max capacity. So it does take a while to I'm sure it does take them a while to adjust if they have to get more printing plants online. That probably takes a couple of years. I don't even know. And they have been doing that. I do. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do wonder what max capacity actually is for them though, because if you look, obviously Prismatic Evolutions is the one that's got the big spotlight on it right now, but Journey Together's also had a spotlight on it because for example, my game store, when we do pre-releases, we generally get between 110 and 120 kits for pre-release. Mm-hmm. Our store, and we weren't the only ones that had this happen to them, got allocated heavily. We got cut down all the way to 70 kits, which is just a little over half of what we normally get.
Yeah,
so
more stores
I don't know if it's necessarily... Is it more stores, though? Because they still have to qualify to run pre-releases.
They have to be I guess
they have to have a league and qualify.
Yeah, I've seen distributors also say they're allocating product based on how long some stores have been doing it. They don't just give if you're
my store's had a league for 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is that your store probably got a higher amount of it, but it still wasn't as much as usual because probably other stores, smaller stores that haven't really done this before wanted to do it and also got some of it.
Well, that's the thing is they still have to qualify as a league store.
Yeah, but
they can't just randomly qualify as a league store. They still have to get approved for that.
Yeah.
And then they have to get a distributor on board.
But they've had since Surging Sparks because that's kind of when it all started to get on board.
And Surging Sparks was also a big spike for this. That's another thing. I was focused on Prismatic, but honestly, Surging Sparks was really the start of this, not Prismatic.
Well, that also came out around Pocket.
Yeah, but it's Surging Sparks because of Pikachu.
Yeah, Pikachu. Yeah.
Pikachu was the big chase card in that set. So still, the stupid Pikachu. Anyway.
So I guess I forgot the point I was trying to make, but I remember now. So what I was going to say was we also know that based on the numbers that Pokemon reveals every year, I think they printed something like 25% of all cards ever made last year. So when they released the what do I call this story? Hold on, I'm Googling it. What is it? Pokemon Shattered Records. I don't remember. It's every May that they do it. Oh yeah, okay. So this was in 2023.
So many.
Okay, so this is not the latest. This was not last year, but anyway, the year before they printed 9.7 billion cards, which and I had even noted back then. This was in the story I wrote in 2023. The number is similar to last year's 9.1 billion 2022's, which means this is probably close to the max capacity the factories can produce. Before 2019, Pokemon was producing an average of 1.5 to 2 billion cards a year. So then what was it for 2024? PokeBeach, billion cards, 2024. Okay, so it was 11.9 billion in...
Well, that's 2023 still.
Yeah, but it's...
Right?
But it's posted in 2024 for the previous year. It's posted... Yeah, so the This was the last one. It was 11.9 billion.
Gotcha.
And then what was it before? Sorry, I forgot the number already.
9.7, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So they increased it by 2 billion.
That's so much.
And then we have here, according to Pokemon, there's been 64.8 billion cards ever produced. So if we do, 64.8 divided by
it's roughly a 6.
11.9. Oh, wait, I did that backwards. I'm so bad at math. 11.9 divided by
like roughly
64.8. Yeah, 18%. So let's say 20% roughly. Yeah. So so last year they printed 20% of all cards ever made. So you know that they have to be producing at max capacity, and that's also what my one of my sources had said, and that's also what's logically makes sense. So I think it just really is that they can't keep up
demand is that high.
The demand. And I guess I should retract what I had kind of I had just kind of offhandedly theorized maybe it was because of Shrouded Fable not doing too well. But I mean, I guess it still could be argued that maybe they focused less on Prismatic because of Shrouded Fable being a special set, and they put all the print. Yeah, maybe, but I'm just saying, like, if anything, wait, let me get the thought out. I'm just saying it's a possibility that maybe they're still printing at max capacity, but they distribute the amount they'll do, like, okay, if their max capacity is 100%, they'll do like 10% to one set, 20 to another set, 20 to another set. You know, like the distribution might be different, where like maybe it was like, oh, Shrouded Fable didn't do too well as a special set, so maybe Prismatic Evolutions won't do too well, so let's print less of it but focus more on printing more of Journey Together and Destined Rivals, and I'm just saying it's logic.
They print these sets like 6 months in advance.
Right.
I do wonder because we both anticipated Shrouded Fable not doing so hot.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I almost wonder if they created Shrouded Fable intentionally as a set that wouldn't do that well, so that they could focus on having a higher volume of production for a later set like Prismatic Evolutions.
I don't know.
Because they didn't think Shrouded Fable would sell so hot, so they get a chance to they produce enough that they think Shrouded Fable can maintain, and for what it's worth, Shrouded Fable had plenty of product, and that would allow them, at least in theory, to produce more Prismatic Evolutions, produce more Journey Together, whatever set they think is going to do the hotness, and go from there. Again, we don't know the backstory. We don't know the background information, but we can only speculate.
But what I am thinking, based on who I've talked to and this data that I'm now reminding myself of, I'm pretty sure they are printing at max capacity. So
I just don't know why they wouldn't.
Right, exactly, and that's logically what makes sense. So it's probably just the demand really is that high, and that's what they said in their statement. So I guess that's all there is to it. Demand is just freaking high and they can't keep up. So and maybe the distribution of how they print it from, different sets, maybe that's what could be improved. Like, hey, let's print a little less of Journey Together and print more Prismatic or something. But that also might be why they stretched out Prismatic over the entire year. Maybe that gives them more opportunity to allocate more of their max capacity to Prismatic by spreading it out more. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm sure that's part of it. I'm 100% sure that's part of it.
Yeah. So
you slap Eevee and shiny stuff in a set, and people are going to lose
and that's
their
what we
minds,
said.
And that's exactly what's happened.
And I had also said when we first figured out an Eevee set was coming and that it was going to have these Master Balls in it that are really hard to get, both in Japan and English, I was saying this is a set that they're probably expecting to last for years. To drive sales for years. So I think it was printed to be a set that is supposed to take a long time to release and to keep people excited and sustained and coming in, trying to get it, for keeping them engaged for a long time, trying to complete it. So, I guess in conclusion, I would say that it does seem that they are printing at max capacity. They printed around almost 20% of all cards ever made last year, the last almost 30 years of cards. 20% of them were printed last year. That's a lot. So they're definitely at max capacity, I would say, and maybe they just need to get more printing plants in. Maybe they probably are working on that, I would imagine, because they're just leaving money on the table if they're not meeting demand. So they probably are working behind the scenes trying to get more printing plants online, more printers, more people hired. I don't know. So anyway,
it's just interesting because Pokemon has had 3 hugely successful sets back to back. You know, they had Surging Sparks, they've had Prismatic Evolutions, and now Journey Together. These are all sets that are really selling fast. And, you know, Destined Rivals is right around the corner too.
Yeah, good luck, Team Rocket. Oh boy.
This is going to be a painful one for them. They're not going to be able to breathe.
Yeah, that's what the theory is that that's probably what it is. They printed less prismatic to start with because they knew they're going to print it throughout the year. And so they put more printing capacity toward Journey Together and Destined Rivals, knowing that it's going to be very popular, especially Team Rocket. That's my theory. So because prismatic is coming out over a full year, they can, sorry, what?
No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it just cut out. Or was lagging, I mean. So Prismatic, again, maybe they knew that Destined Rivals having Team Rocket is going to sell like hotcakes. So they printed more of it because it's a regular set release. Whereas with Prismatic, they know it's going to release over a full year and probably even longer than that. So they're doing it in different print runs where they're just printing a little bit of it at a time, or not a little bit of it, but less of it relative to a main set release. I think this all makes sense, actually. I think this is all true. I think this is really what's happening.
We can certainly speculate. One thing that concerns me, and this is what I was going to say a second ago, their spacing of their sets is concerning. So they're having issues with production, obviously, right? They're not able to produce as much as they would like. But they also have Destined Rivals and Journey Together barely 2 months away from each other.
That's because
these sets are basically bum to bum.
Well, that's how they've always done things when there's a special set in between. So that's because of the July black and white set that'll be coming out. So what's probably going to happen is
it's Prismatic that shifted the dates. I just think that they need to reevaluate how they're doing these special sets.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Because they used to do these special sets.
What were you saying before that?
Prismatic is what causes. So it's the early years. The set that causes the date shift isn't the one later in the year. It's the one at the beginning of the year.
The special set, yeah.
So in this case, it's Prismatic Evolutions that shifted it. The problem is they're not rippling that shift. Personally, I think this beginning of year set thing is just too late. They used to do the special sets like in August, October, November, and sometimes even like early December. And now it's January, and that's causing it's not great for their production set for for Journey Together and Destined Rivals, but it's also not good for the competitive scene because then you have basically a 5-month window where the format doesn't change, and it's rough.
Mm. Well, the black and white set, or the presumptive black and white set, will be coming out in July.
Yeah.
So that'll be helpful, but it's also because that set's also coming out in July. We're getting Destined Rivals May, presumptive black and white set in July. So that's 2 months apart, probably 2.5
again.
And then that's why I started talking about that, because that's what I thought you were getting to when you were saying that earlier. And then after that, we're going to get our first Mega Evolution set, which will presumably be
August
or September,
late August probably,
or maybe September.
Could be early September, but probably late August, early September.
So
then November again.
They're just printing like crazy. It's
a lot.
Yeah.
I wish they would go back to the one special set a year thing. This 2 special set a year thing is hurting them and players and collectors. I think it's just too much. I understand Japan's producing a lot of product, and that's why they're having to crunch down to 2 special sets like this. But maybe they just need to ask Japan to chill, or they need to make bigger base sets.
Well, I think Japan probably, the way they do it is what's best for their
Their market, yeah.
Yeah, their market. Yeah. I was going to say their people.
I just think there's an argument to be made that the way that it's happening right now is not what's best for the international market.
Yeah. Yeah. But maybe they'll get more printing plants online over the next couple years, and maybe they'll, I don't know. Because people clearly want it. I mean, people want it. I mean, I didn't want Shrouded Fable.
Yeah, I do.
I only want the King Drop. I still haven't gotten it yet. Actually, yeah. I mean, like for me, I'm lucky in that I have more of a connection to the old cards. That's what as a collector, that's what I'm interested in completing. And then for like modern, I'll just like pick up a couple here and there. So for me,
to be fair, a lot of the modern cards have really pretty art.
Yeah, no, I know. Like the Kingdra, yeah. So I try to pick them up when something really interests me, but I can't always afford to, collect sets and everything. All right, so let's get to the most valuable cards from Heatwave Arena. So no surprise that Cynthia's Garchomp EX Special Illustration Rare is number 1, with Cynthia on the big screen here. And then Ethan's Ho-Oh EX, Ethan's Adventure, which features
also
the Pichu in it. I thought what was a little surprising was that Misty's Psyduck plays so high because it's just a regular illustration rare.
It's still Misty, like.
Yeah, it is, but it's also a common illustration rare, so it's not that hard to pull. But people really want it.
I mean, still Misty.
Yeah, right. People really want it. Ethan's Typhlosion too. And then I don't know why I thought people liked Hydrapple, and then I saw some people in the comments being like, "Oh, Hydrapple." I was like, I really like Hydrapple. I thought people really liked it when it was revealed.
You talking about the Pokemon or the card?
The Pokemon, but it's
all right.
But people I saw in the comments were like, "Ew, Hydrapple," and then it placed low on the list. So I was like, "What?" I was like, I thought it was a popular Pokemon.
Nah.
Yeah, I thought it was. Guess I was wrong. And then so that's pretty much like the surprising. That's the those are the top ones. And then in terms of competitive play, the regular Cynthia Garchomp EX, Ethan's Ho EX, and Yanmega EX all went for 600 to 800 yen, whereas the rest of the X's in the set were less than 100 yen, which tells you that nobody wanted them. So this is telling us that the competitive players are excited for Cynthia's Garchomp EX, Ethan's Ho EX, and Yanmega EX. Does that line up with what you thought?
In terms of competitive viability, yeah actually.
See, so that's
Cynthia's
why it's good to
Garchomp's seventh in Japan right now. So
that's why
sounds about right.
That's why it's good to look at this data, because it tells us what competitive players like. It tells us what collectors like. I remember when I first started posting.
It's been interesting though. A lot of these sets for this recent I block, most of the cards are not like immediately obviously competitively viable. Mm-hmm. And like if you'll notice, basically nothing changed with, you probably don't follow Japanese meta, but like for the most part, Journey Together didn't really, or the cards in Journey Together for Japan didn't really shift the meta very much.
Oh, they didn't? Oh.
And it looks to be the same so far for Heatwave Arena, where Heatwave Arena really hasn't shifted the meta that much. Like Cynthia's Garchomp is the most competitive deck out of Heatwave Arena, and right now, according to PTC database, it's 7th as an archetype, which means it's at least seeing some success, but it's 7th. It's not like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th. It's 7th.
Not every set, is this correct? Not every set moves the meta like that?
That's true. Although Japan, usually the meta shifts a little bit faster just because they have a shorter window for everything. Mm-hmm. But usually there's, at least in the English sets, usually there is a shift. Sometimes it's a big one. Now, obviously, the big shift for this one is going to be the fact that we have rotation, so there obviously will be a forced shift. Yeah. But the fact that Heatwave Arena is already half of a set, and there hasn't been a noteworthy change in the meta, like the top contenders are all the same top contenders from the Journey Together formats for Japan. So, you have Dragapult, Raging Bolt, Archaludon, Gardevoir, Grandango, and Charizard. They're exactly what you would expect to see up there. And the fact that Cynthia's Garchomp hasn't really changed that. Ethan's deck in general hasn't really changed that. It is a bit of a head scratcher. It makes me wonder if they're designing these cards with maybe a slower format in mind, or at least a different format in mind. And it does make me wonder some things.
Well, let's see what happens when the Rocket set comes out.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Mewtwo, people are talking about Mewtwo as if it's not that hot either, and maybe I'm just overwhelmed or overly impressed with the card itself compared to everyone else, or maybe people are seeing it more correctly than I am in terms of how viable it is. But if that's the case, that would be yet another set that doesn't really change the meta, which would be a very interesting thing to have happen, where we'd have basically 6 months of sets that don't do anything.
Yeah, well, they are stalling until ZA comes out, so I don't know. They're definitely stalling.
Yeah, but that's not something you need to. You don't need to stop the competitive meta for that. That's completely unnecessary.
We didn't talk about the. I don't think we did the. We weren't recording when these secret rares came out, but did you have any favorites, real quick?
The Cynthia's Garchomp. That's really it. Most of them honestly aren't that interesting to me.
Really?
I like
you don't like the Ho?
I like the Ethan's Ho.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that one too. But
Ethan's Adventure?
I don't like that art.
I thought that. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I was gonna say the same thing. Something about the face and the Pokemon model seems a little wonky.
The face is what's got it for me.
And I did not like Arven's Mabastiff at all.
I'm not the biggest fan of Arven in the first place.
But I like.
I see Psyduck is pretty. The Typhlosion's pretty.
Yeah. I like the Yanma. I like the Lapras. Although I wish, I don't know. I think they could have done a better Lapras art, but Ethan's Typhlosion is probably my favorite. It got me rewatching did you ever, I don't know if you really ever watched the anime, but did you ever watch the Pokemon Crystal special with the Raikou special that released in Japan in like 2001 or something, or 2?
No, I wouldn't have.
It has Team Rocket in it. It's got basically Raikou gets captured by Team Rocket, different Team Rocket members, and Ethan and Chris and some other guy have to rescue Raikou or whatever. It's a really good special. You should try watching it. But I think that's why Ethan is so associated with Typhlosion, is because of that special. Interesting. Anyway, all right, and then
Mega Brave, Mega Symphonia.
Again? Didn't we already talk about that?
We haven't seen the cards.
Oh, we haven't. Okay. Well, I guess we haven't recorded in a month. I guess this will be probably the cutoff, because after this it feels like old news to me. But Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia will release in Japan on August 1st. The sets will feature Mega Lucario X and Mega Gardevoir X, respectively. The prefix for the set will be Pokemon Card Game Mega, again confirming that we're leaving the Scarlet and Violet era behind. There'll also be 2 pre-constructed decks named starter set Mega Gengar EX and Mega Diancie EX. They'll cost 1,800 yen each, just like the Marnie and Steven decks. So maybe they'll also come with illustration rares in them, like the Marnie and Steven decks. And then we should get our first Mega set in August or September. Stay tuned. So I guess
let's look at these cards.
They're probably doing like what was the first? What was it? Brilliant Stars, the first Arceus set. They're probably doing that thing where they don't have any new characters in it. It's just like, established characters, and then the set after is when they introduce, the new Mega Evolutions and all that.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Because it also gives them. It prevents any also leaks from happening from the factories. But anyway, okay, so Mega Lucario EX and Mega Gardevoir EX, what did you think of them? Oh,
there
sorry.
are two other cards that are not.
I asked you a
Where's
question.
the rest of it?
I asked you a question. Then I'm interrupting you. I thought it was funny that we're going from Riolu straight into a Mega Lucario EX. That's a major jump in HP. But they do cost 3 prize cards, like a what was it, a VMAX?
I would just like to state for the record, I absolutely detest the fact that these are 3 prizers.
Why?
I abhor 3 prizers for the TCG. They single-handedly ruined the game.
Really?
When they were tag
you mean
teams.
like tag teams?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
The power creep that tag teams and then VMAXs have caused is unforgivable. And 3 prizers mess up the pace of the game in a very unpleasant way. I'm not super happy about the 3 prizers coming back. I was extremely excited that we were getting rid of the last of 3 prizers with this coming rotation, and then seeing these revealed as 3 prizers, just I was not pleased.
So what did
I'll put
you?
it that way.
Well, wait, are they any good though?
I think they're both fine. I think they both have tools. These aren't the only. These 2 cards are not the only ones we've seen. I wish we'd see the other cards that were revealed from the sets.
You're talking about the
look at those 2, the potion and or the potion, but the bottle.
What story was that? Where is that story?
I think it's that one there, right?
Which one?
Or no? Oh,
This
maybe
one?
that's too late too.
Well, see, this was a while
it's
ago
too late
now.
too.
I don't remember, but it was that. You can just say what the tool did.
So let me pull up my own site. I'll find it faster that way.
I can't find it.
So basically, we have Mega Gardevoir, Mega Lucario. Mega Gardevoir is a 360 HP Stage 2 Pokemon. Mm-hmm. That number is so absurd. We're getting into fake Mon territory already. Getting into 360 HP. Overflowing Wish is its first attack. For each of your bench Pokemon, search deck for a Psychic Energy and attach it to each of those Pokemon. And then shuffle your deck. And then Mega Symphonia does 50 times damage. Does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your Pokemon. Psychic Energy, yes. Which is not bad damage-wise, and it does synergize really well with the regular Gardevoir EX from Scarlet and Violet base. I think it's perfectly playable. It kind of fills a much the same role as the Chilling Reign Gardevoir did before it rotated, where it just does big damage based on energy. I think it's fine. It's 3 prizer. It's not that offensive, frankly.
Feels like
the initial reveals are
It feels
okay.
like every Gardevoir does this.
Does damage based on energy?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not uncommon.
Mewtwo
and
does
then
too.
the Mega Lucario has Aura Jab. So Aura Jab does 130 damage, and then you attach up to 3 basic fighting energy cards from your discard pile to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. This is very similar to Garchomp EX, which has seen no play, although it's a stage 2. And then Mega Brave does 270 damage for 2 fighting energy. And then during your next turn, this Pokemon cannot use Mega Brave.
Ooh, that's big damage.
270 is a lot of damage, and that's not actually all of it too, because there's a card called Premium Power Pro that's also going to be coming out.
Yeah,
it's for those who are familiar with Electro Power or Power Tablets, it's the same idea for fighting Pokemon. It says during this turn, attacks used by your fighting Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. So you're basically boosting your damage just like you would with Power Tablets, just like you would with Electro Power or even Plus Power, and you're getting that damage boost that just sticks. It's not a tool. It's just an instant plus 30 for that turn. And it stacks, obviously. So if you play more than one, it does even more damage boost.
That's so much.
Which means that 270 can get really high really fast, and it's only a 2 energy attack cost.
Yeah,
which means to me at least it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a stage 1. There's no indication that there's any special mechanic to get these megas out. And they would probably be on the card if you had to, which tells me this guy just evolves straight from from Riolu.
He does. The original mechanic, as soon as you evolve them, your turn ended. You could attach
unless you had a Spirit Link attached.
Yeah, you could have the Spirit Link tool, but it's just a stage 2 or stage 1. Sorry, in Lucario's
stage
case.
1 in this case, yeah.
Yeah, pretty broken.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So
high damage.
I think that's where we'll stop it for now. Everything after this feels too old. So
Yeah.
yeah, but this was a fun episode.
Yeah, we got to be enthusiastic about Pocket and whether or not Pocket was the.
Yeah, what's coming up this next week we'll get the reveal of Destined Rivals. I don't know which day, probably like Thursday or something, maybe Wednesday, and then and then what's after that? I don't know, but anyway.
We'll probably well, I mean, not guaranteed, but we'll probably see more reveals.
Oh, right.
For Glory of Team Rocket on Thursday also.
Well, we're
Friday
a month away from that, aren't we?
It's actually weird because the set comes out. So the full reveal of Glory of Team Rocket is in 18 days as of recording. So we have less than a month for the full reveal.
Oh, dang. So they're going to really kick that into dry. Oh, geez.
Yeah, they're going to be starting to kick those pretty quick here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We should get the reveals for that. Definitely. So get ready for Team Rocket. That'll be fun. So what should they comment if they got this far?
If they got this far, let's put what's a very pockety card or a pockety Pokemon, shall we say?
I don't know.
Joltik?
Joltik?
That'll fit in your pocket, right?
Oh, pocket.
It's tiny.
Oh, literally a pocket. Okay, Joltik. Comment Joltik if
you got this obviously
far.
It's a reference to our enthusiastic discussion about pocket earlier. But it could fit a Joltik in your pocket.
Yeah, it's like the smallest Pokemon. Used to be Caterpie, now it's Joltik. All right, well, thank you for joining us, everybody. We will see you next week, and hopefully I hope you start feeling even better so that we can keep recording.
For sure.
All right. Hope you all have a good week. Hang in there. Prismatic, they're going to print more of it, so just hang in there. Just be patient. You'll get more of it soon. And I forgot to mention, Pokebeach is now solar powered. I finished my solar installation finally. So
yay!
Pokebeach is now a green company. If you want to call it a company, it's now a green company. The computer, everything you see here. That you don't see, actually, it's not in the frame, but the whole house is now powered by solar power. So
that's fun.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, we'll see you all next week. Have a good week. Adios, ariadoses.
Bye.
Bye.